friends, we have a fun project today. So we're going to do two things today. We're going to stamp some words, and we have to figure out how big they're actually going to be. This is a set from Stampers Anonymous that definitely has that old-fashioned vibe that I'm looking for this journal. But first, we're going to vintage up this journal cover. I did a little bit of painting with Pitt pens, which are India ink pens, and I did a bunch of painting on the inside here to match kind of one or the other of the colors of the pages. So we need to glue this to a piece of paper. So let's get a piece of paper out. We'll add that to our list. I think it's looking really good. I also, oh, here's one of the things. I also evened out some of the pages. The binding's still wonky, but this is supposed to be a handmade journal. All right, so what we're going to be using today is called glazing medium, which is a medium that allows you to make acrylic paint translucent. So here is my lovely palette. And what we're going to do is we're going to make acrylic paint translucent with this glazing medium, okay? So if we were to paint distress vintage photo, shake your paints, directly onto this, acrylic paint is opaque, meaning it will just paint it without having any in between. So what I want to do is I want to put a ton of glazing medium in there for the first round of painting. So we're going to mix this all up. And this is vintage photo distress paint. You can use any kind of acrylic paint. You could use paint from Walmart. This is just going to give it that vintage vibe that I'm looking for with this journal. I don't want it to be white, and I don't want to lose. This is Seth Apter's fabric and you know, doodles and stuff. I love the look of it, and I don't want to lose it all under a coat of paint. Now, could you use water? I don't know. Sorry. I don't use water. I did use a little bit of black Posca pen to fill in where the red bag is. I don't know. So I can tell you, number one, if you used water, you would lose some of the coloring of the paint, right? Because you would be diluting the paint. And with glazing medium, I got that giant jar from Amazon for like $16 years ago. And I've been using it in lots of projects since then. So it goes a long way because you're not using a ton of it ever. Well, looks like we could glue down that corner, huh? Now that I made it all wet, I don't know if glue will help stick it down, but we're going to try. Now, we won't paint where the glue is because that would mess up our paintbrush and our paint and our glue. All right, I'm going to go along the edge. Oh, look. There's another little spot where it's not stuck down. I used Mod Podge. And it appears that the inside is pretty well stuck down, but maybe it's not hardy enough to stick down the edges. Okay, so if we flip this over, here we go. Got a piece of wax paper so we don't get paint all over our other pages. Would not be the end of the world. And then I'm going to flip this around for you and show you doing the front. And we're going to have different layers of this. So this is vintage photo. It's my favorite color of Tim Holtz paint, and it's just my favorite vintage color to put like a sepia tone on stuff. That's very subjective. He likes, it's either walnut stain. I think he likes walnut stain the best. And that has a lot of black in it. And I like more of a brown sepia rather than a really black one. And these ones are coming up on the edge because those handle things are underneath there. And there's not really much I could do to, like, there's always going to be a gap there because of the handles. But I love the handles, and they're going to be part of a super fun project later. So you could do this with any fabric that you chose. It doesn't have to be Seth's fabric. you could just take any fabric you have laying around and make it look old and vintage and grungy. And also, you don't have to make it old and vintage and grungy. You could make it look fresh and lovely and beautiful if you wanted to. I just don't necessarily love fresh and lovely and beautiful. I've lost my other piece of wax paper, so we're going to get a new one. Maybe that is the old one. All right, so now this is going to be more exciting because we're going to go all over here. And I'm not trying to make this perfectly covered or one layer on everything or anything like that, because, you know, an old book is never going to be perfect. That's just not how old things work. They're not perfect. And this is why I wasn't too worried about how bright I felt those colors were on the cover, because I knew I could dampen them down with a layer of paint. So I'm going to go around and paint all of this with the vintage photo, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do some shading, right, with another color of paint. Now, while I'm switching over to the spine, I did want to mention you could do this process with almost anything, right? So acrylic ink just happens to be the medium I work in the most, and that I have the most, what would you call them, floofy things to do with them. Like I have glazing medium, I have all kinds of stuff. I have acrylic inks, because I prefer to do permanent layers rather than layers that can be reactivated with water, because I tend to flop around in my paint, in my projects, like a guppy. I know that Tim Holt says don't lick your paint, don't lick your projects, and then you won't get ink all over, but that only works somewhat because I use lots of layers of stuff in my mixed media. And so even if I don't lick my projects, Tim, I would reactivate water reactive inks going forward, because I'll probably do some embossing. I'm a little worried it'll pull the glue up from underneath the fabric, but if it does, I have a couple areas already that have some weird things, so I'm planning already on slitting the fabric with an X-Acto knife and going back in and re-gluing some areas. As long as the edges are tight, everything's going to be fine. And I don't mean to brag, but I feel like my edges are rock stars for this journal. Look at how crisp my corners are. All right, I'll leave you alone till I get done with this big part. I'm at the very end. I have this little tiny spot, and we made it. Yay! Okay, so I don't need to let this dry because I don't mind if the paints mix. I'm going to use first, I think I'm going to use a little bit of aged mahogany, which is a very burgundy paint. It's a brownish burgundy rather than a red burgundy. He doesn't have a burgundy I like, and he says he's not going to make us one. We can figure it out on our own. But what I want to do is just get lots of this, and I'm just going to, in fact, I want 2 brushes so that I can put some around. I don't know if my fingers are all stained. They're not. My fingers were all stained last night from, I was using those India inks and rubbing them with my fingers. My fingers were all stained up. And this is just to any book you would have would be dirtier around the edge than it would be in the middle, because books get dirty around the edge. Okay, now we're going to go up here right along that line. Down here and down here. I was thinking I might use Circus on one of the cutout pages, but maybe we could use it. We could use Circus Life. How fun would that be? On the front. We would have to remember to be very careful to know which is the front and the back, which is a concern from past projects. Ask me why I'm concerned about it. It's because I have put things that I thought were on the front on the back. There we go. Ooh, I really like how that's going. Okay, I feel like this is, oh, I bet you it was from when I did the other side, so it didn't get as pulled into the center. There we go. All right, so for our last color, we're going to use Ground Espresso, which is a really dark color. Ooh, I didn't shake. It's going to be a really dark color, but like almost a blend. Like it's almost going to be watercolor because I only have the stuff and again, we're going to go right where books would get dirty. Kind of on the edges and on the corners. Oh, I love how that looks. I love how dirty and grungy that looks. Oh, we got a little dink in there. I kind of love that. And I'm grinding it down into the fabric with the paintbrush, just to really get it in there. So I'm going to go from here around this corner. And what you don't want it to be is uniform, because if you were having a book that was aging over time, it wouldn't age in exactly the same places everywhere. So this is making me very happy. I love how this is coming out. The bottom would get into stuff, so it would have more grunge. Remember last time we got like kind of a line. And then up here, I don't want quite so much grunge because I'm going to put that blue, that really bright blue on there. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. I know you get to see it more than I do when it's going. I think that mahogany, that one little layer of mahogany, if it was all brown, 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 it wouldn't be as cool and as interesting and have as much depth if we hadn't put that layer of mahogany in there. So that is the cover that we're working on. And now, so we're going to do a couple things. We're gonna, and I didn't bring my project tray. I have a project tray that I put everything on to bring it back and forth from my bedroom where I do my doodling in my chair. I'm listening right now to an ebook called Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and it's about saving the world in space and aliens. One of my favorite books of all time. I've already listened to it, but it's been a couple years, so I don't remember everything in it, and it's just such a treat. Such a treat to revisit a book that you adore and get to listen to it again, huh? Okay, let's get this lined up. There we go. Yeah, for something like this that's going to be a pull-out, we definitely have to put it on something. Do we want to put some glossy Mod Podge on it and see what happens? I want to try all the things this year. So we already did some of the tags with crystal glaze. This time, let's use glossy Mod Podge and see what happens. It's been a minute since I used my glossy Mod Podge. Oh my gosh, it stinks. I forgot glossy Mod Podge stinks. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. Deep breaths, deep breaths. It's a little tag. We're not doing the whole room. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what I bet happened is all that smell stayed in there for years. Or a year at least, I think. And now it's just coming out. Okay, so we'll check that back next time too. So if you want to know what I do when I get done, thank goodness it escaped. What I do is when I get done with today, I just go out and I have a glass canning jar, one of those little canning jars, and I dump these brushes in there overnight, and then they're super easy to clean out. So you don't have to make a big production about cleaning them out. And then for here, I just bought a paint scraper off of Amazon. It was like 12 bucks and it came with a whole bunch of blades. And the reason why I work mostly on glass is because I can make as big a mess as I want to, and that is how you clean it up. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do oh, there they are. I did bring my thing. So this is gonna go kind of here, and we'll have to beat it up too or it'll look really weird. But that's gonna go right there. Where did I just see that? Oh, here it is. Never mind. Okay. So now I have archival ink. This is Distress, Tim Holtz Distress color, Black Soot, which is a really, really black. A lot of blacks aren't really black. They're more gray. But this, because it's archival, is permanent, which is what I need for my stuff. Okay, so we need C. We need a block. And there are so many card girls that could teach you how to do this so much better than me, but I promised you I would use my stamps more. So I want to get it all in there. Okay. C. It's okay. Let's do some more. You can stamp it as much as you want. There's no rule you can't stamp it more. That's better. Okay, so C-I. Oh, we need two I's, right? Circus Life. So we're gonna, and this is the first time I've used these for ink. I've used them for embossing, and we probably will emboss them again. These are gonna be layers. I, that's good. I, yeah. We need an F. I'm using Canson mixed media paper. I've also in the past used Grumbacher mixed media paper. You could use Diane Reevely Creative Diary sheets ripped out. F. So C-I-R. Oh, I need another C. Yeah, I think I'll do another C. I was going to say, I'm going to paint. I'm going to use paint to paint these. So it's not exactly as if I have to rely on the stamp, but I do think it'll be easier if I have it. C-I-R-C-U-S-L-I. I need an E. E. Ooh, the E is beautiful. Yeah, pretty good. So, let me know in the comments below, are you playing along, Sir, at C-I-R-C-U-S, okay, I need one R. Are you playing along with me using the supplies you have? Are you having a no spend or low spend year like I am? functionally what I'm trying to do here is use, oh, that wasn't very good, is use all the stamps and everything I have already instead of going out and buying more. C-I-R-C, I need U-S, that's it. So I have a little piece here. Oh, I need an L. I was feeling like I was missing a letter. So let's do the U. Better. The more you use your stuff, see, this is the whole point, peeps. The more you use your stuff, the better it works. So rubber stamps aren't made to sit and not be covered with ink and dye and all that stuff. They're made to be used, and by using them, you keep them soft and subtle, and they have a layer of protection on them. Maybe I'm getting better at this already. All right, we need an L, JKL. Well, you can tell I used the M, it's upside down. Some of them I've used, but I've used them for embossing. We'll do that again, it'll be fun. So what we've accomplished today, we used glazing medium and acrylic paint to color our book, the fabric on our book. We glued something to something, and then we made these. I'm gonna doodle these tonight. Oh, we did glossy Mod Podge. So we're just moving through the book. This is the kind of thing that you need to understand, is that as you're moving through the book, there's stages of things you have to do. And so you can't, people are like, I want to get it all done at once. You just can't do that. You have to do things in stages. So hopefully that helps. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.